Hey chess friends, it's Ben with Feisty Chess. Rather than play a game, I wanted to show you a resource for improvement. I'm going to be using it because I feel like I need to work on my board vision. So, there's three kinds of vision in chess. I learned this from Dan Heisman, one of my favorite authors for chess improvement. We tend to talk about them as though they're all the same. One is visualization. That's your ability to actually see the chessboard in your mind, to actually imagine. This helps you calculate variations ahead of time, to imagine what the board's going to look like a few moves down the line. And it helps people to play even blindfold games when they get really good at it. You can just see, you know where all the pieces are, and you can visualize. Okay, that's one type of chess vision. Another type is pattern recognition. Okay, so if you do a lot of tactical puzzles and you know a lot of the same tactical motifs and patterns, a lot of the most common ones, it's been shown that even separating GMs from international masters, or even GMs from like elite GMs, that's one way you can separate them, is by just showing them pretty basic tactical puzzles and how quickly they get it based on just pattern recognition that works at an almost subconscious level. So if you recognize a lot of the most common patterns, or even uncommon patterns, how many thousands of patterns do you really have down, then that can help you with your visualization, and it can help you calculate as well. But that's a separate consideration than you being able to imagine the pieces in your head. That's a separate skill. The third skill is just as important, and it's the one we probably talk about least often, and that's actually called board vision. And that has the most directly to do with, this is the metaphor of visual in all of these, but this is the most visual of the three. And that is, the board vision is simply, when you look at the chessboard, what do you see? And you might say, well, I see the same chessboard as everyone else sees. And that's true in a certain way of thinking about things. But what moves do you see? A lot of people don't play moves because they don't see them. And I want to work this skill. This is a skill that's particularly tricky for long diagonal moves across the board, for bishops and queens. A lot of times lateral rook and queen moves, especially when they're long distance moves, are literally harder to see, and you don't consider them as you're calculating the possible candidate moves, as you're looking at variations. You don't see everything. You don't see all the possibilities. Right? Computers calculate each possibility to some extent. We don't do that. We look at a handful of moves, and after a game you can say, oh, I didn't even consider that move. I didn't consider that move my opponent made. I didn't consider this alternative that I had. I've had some tough experiences in the last few games with mates in one. I got mated by a pretty obvious mate in one because I was low on time, and I missed a mate in one when I was low on time and went on to lose the game. So it doesn't get much worse than that, and if that's the kind of problem you're experiencing, then maybe you need to work on your board vision. So I'm going to work on some of my board vision. One site that I know of to do this, really the only site that has this kind of exercise, is a site that I don't think many people have heard of. It's called ChessGym. It's not .com. You notice on the screen there, it's chessgym.net. So if you head there, you can do certain type of exercises. You'll need to make sure you've got the right Flash downloaded on your computer, but if you go into exercises, here comes the Flash download. You can just play as guest here. So they've got your usual, play chess against the computer. They've got tactics. They have positional tactics, which is kind of interesting. They have interesting ways of doing tactics. But I think what I come to ChessGym to do is this attackers and defenders stuff. So I want to show you how this works. It's very simple, and it might seem almost too rudimentary, but if you do these kinds of things, you'll notice that you start to see more things on the chessboard. You can expand your board vision. Okay? So for attackers, basically, all you do is click on all the pieces that are attacked. I'm going to turn off that crazy board shuffle noise, because that'll happen every time we do this. Okay. All right, so here we are. Immediately, I'm just going to go through this. I see that the white king is in check. He's attacked. What else is attacked? This rook and this queen are attacking each other. That rook is attacked by that queen. And already there's something I'm not seeing immediately, so I have to actually scan the board and see what's being attacked. Okay, that rook is attacking that pawn. See, I didn't see that because it's not a move I would even consider making. But wait, there's more. What are we missing here? What's surprising as you do these is how many, how simple it sounds and how easy it seems that that you would just see everything immediately. But no, I don't. So the long distance moves I've found, and the long distance diagonal moves especially, are my soft points here. So here I see the queen. The black queen is attacking that pawn. Okay, so we got all the attackers, all the attacked pieces there. The title is called Attackers. You're not clicking Attackers, you're clicking on the attacked pieces. These pawns are attacking each other. That queen and that bishop are attacking that pawn. The king is in check, he's attacked. Is that rook attacking anything? No. What am I missing? This queen is attacking that pawn. So typically, that queen is right next to that pawn, but it's not a move I would consider. Still, that your brain kind of prunes that out. But a lot of times you can lose games because you didn't consider particular moves. Okay, these pawns are both attacked by that queen. White queen is attacking this black pawn. That pawn is attacked by that pawn. Queen is attacking this. Oh, that king is in check. The last thing I noticed. Okay, let's do this more systematically. That knight is... What is white attacking here? All the white pieces. Attacking that black knight. Okay, actually that's the only thing I see that white is attacking right here. I might be wrong, but I'm going to switch to black. Black's attacking this pawn with his queen, that knight, which is also loose. He is attacking... This is a tough one. I don't see anything else that black is attacking. Let's turn back to white. What else is white attacking? The rook isn't hitting anything. The bishop isn't hitting anything. The queen is not hitting anything. That knight... Ah! This knight is attacking that pawn. Okay. Is that knight attacking anything? No, I'm looking at the black side now. Is the queen... I missed something here. That pawn, that bishop, that rook. The bishop is attacking this. Okay. Takes a while to get used to this, and that's kind of the point. Okay, from the black side, this pawn is attacked. Okay, and I don't see anything else that's attacked. I don't trust that, but I'm going to move to black. Black's got this pawn and that pawn attacked. And... this pawn is attacked by the black knight. Whew. None of those white pieces are attacking anything else. What else am I missing? I get to the point where I think there's an error, but I know there's not. I know I'm just missing something. But once you do a few of these, you realize how much work you have to do on your board vision, right? I'm still not seeing the final attacked piece. Now, I might have accidentally clicked on a piece that's not attacked. Are these pawns attacked? Is that knight, that rook? Ooh. Ah, queen's attacking the knight. Okay, backwards move. All right, I'm gonna back out of this and show you the defenders, which you might be able to guess what this is now. Find all the defended pieces. So instead of the attacked pieces, we're going to find the defended pieces. So this is board vision of another sort, the sort of friendly fire stuff. So I don't do this one as often. I don't know if it's as useful as attackers, but it's worth a shot. So let's give it a shot. This pawn is defended by the queen. That pawn is defended by that pawn. These pawns are both defended by the king. These rooks defend each other. Okay, this pawn is defended by the rook and the king. That pawn's defended by the rook. The queen's defended by the knight, which is also defended by that pawn, which is defended by the rook. This pawn is defended by the queen, and that pawn is defended by the knight. I think it also makes you mark the kings, whether they're defended or not, which is really pretty irrelevant. That rook is defended. Okay, what are we missing? These pawns are undefended. The rook is undefended. Bishop is undefended. Maybe we're not supposed to hit the kings. Okay, you don't hit the kings. Alright, king is under check. The queen is defended. The knight is defended. These pawns. That bishop is not, but this one is. The pawn is. Our rooks are not defended. And that pawn is not defended. Black is defending all of his pawns. Not the queen. He's defending this knight and that knight. This rook is defended. Okay, I thought I've come to the end. This bishop is also defended by the rook. And this rook is defended by the knight. Is the queen defended somehow? No. White, this pawn is defended by the queen. So those backwards moves are difficult to see. We'll do one more here. King is in check. The bishop is not defended, however. This knight is. These two pawns, all those pawns are. Okay, that's all of white's defended pieces. Black's defended pieces are both knights. These three pawns, and that's it. Okay, back out of that. You could try some of the other things. It's interesting they have a positional tactics thing, but this video is really about board vision and trying to come up with ways to improve your board vision. Yeah, thinking about those three types of vision is really helpful, I think, and knowing when you have deficiencies in your game and where exactly those are. Maybe you're pretty good at knowing tactical patterns. You've done a lot of puzzles. I feel like I'm pretty strong on tactical patterns, and that helps me to recognize them when they come up, so that kind of overlaps with board vision in some extent. And I feel like I'm getting better at visualization. I've been trying to play some blindfold games, and doing pretty well at that. But I feel like board vision is an overlooked area, and it's a weak point for me, for long-range moves especially, and especially seeing a couple of long-range moves strung together and actually being able to imagine those being played. I think calculation is easy on a certain sector of the board, right? You got a kingside attack, and you're just looking near the castle king, and maybe you've got a knight and pawns over there, and those are all close-range pieces. Maybe the queen is up in the business too, and you don't have to look at moves way across the board. But it's those bishop moves from way across the board, or a rook move from the other side of the board, that are often hard to see and hard to factor into your calculation, and that takes work on its own. And yeah, I would encourage you to try out ChessGym.net and its attackers and defenders puzzles to work on your board vision, to see what you're actually seeing. Because if you can't see a move, you can't play a move. You can't even consider playing that move. And especially if you can't see an opponent's move, that's going to mess up your calculations. And I can think of a lot of examples from my tournament experience where that has happened. It's like, oh, I didn't see that move, because maybe it was a long diagonal queen move over the board, and I didn't even consider it. So I found myself stuck in a hard place because of that. Okay, I'm going to get back to chess games next. I'm going to try to break my losing streak. I've also made a plan for time management I want to share. So up here, I've got a table for milestones, and this is another thing I learned from Dan Heisman, reading some of his material, is if you have time trouble problems, as I do, and a lot of people have problems where they move too quick and they don't use all their time. Apparently that's a more common problem, but my problem has always been getting into time trouble. Dan Heisman says that's the better problem to have, but still I've had a really hard time getting that under control. You can see that if you've watched some of my videos. So the idea here is I play 15-minute games with a 10-second increment. So for those games, I've got certain milestones set. and I'd like to have my first 15 moves done by the time we get to 10 minutes, okay? So the opening, I should be able to crank out the first 5 to 6 moves pretty quickly, and then 10 moves, you know, this should take 5 minutes off my clock. So I should have at least 10 minutes by the time I'm done with my first 15 moves. By the time I get to move 25, I should have 7 minutes left. By move 35, I should have 4 minutes left. And most games last on average about 40 moves, but if I get to move 45, I'd like to have a minute left on the clock. So these are my milestones, and I'm going to aim for these targets in the next set of chess games that I play, 15-10. So look for those in the future. I hope this has been helpful, and again, I would encourage you to just jump over to chessgym.net and check out these unique chess puzzles, which are the kind of thing you need to improve your board vision, which is an often neglected part of chess abilities. Okay, stay feisty, folks. I'll see you next time.